Hey, how's it going? It's Greg with How to Build Games. Today I'm going to give you a tutorial on tutorials. More specifically, 5 tips to get the most out of any tutorial. Now, I know that sounds kind of silly, but bear with me. So some of these are going to be, really only applicable to beginners, but even if you've been around a while and doing this a while, you may find something useful in here. I think you might. Tip number 1. What version of software are you using? Make sure it's the same as the tutorial. If they don't say, you might want to find a new tutorial. It should be there somewhere. For example, I've got some existing tutorials on the channel. They're for Unity 4, which is great if you're using Unity 4. It's not if you're using anything newer, because Unity changed a lot between 4 and 5, so it's no good. Unity 2019.2 and 2019.3 look completely different because they did a big UI overhaul in 2019.3, but the code works the same. So you don't have to be using like exactly the same, like 4.7.3.882.23. But that major number, the 2019 or the 4 or the 5, you want that to be the same. The minor revisions, 2019.2 and 3, code is generally going to work the same there. So that's tip number 1. Tip number 2, press play before you're supposed to. So I've found a lot of interesting game mechanics and happy accidents and things like that when I press play before I was supposed to, according to the tutorial. I mean, you know the drill. You type in the code, hopefully, or you paste in the code from the tutorial into your project and try to run it. Once you get that big batch of code typed in or pasted, and you see what it does. My tip is to stop somewhere in the middle and try it. Now, obviously, you're not going to get the intended result of the tutorial, but you can find some really interesting stuff. And I found some of my favorite mechanics in my personal games that are very different than anything else by pressing play before I was supposed to, even in my own code, even as I'm building things, just to see what it does where it's at. Now, you do have to have a certain degree of proficiency there to know, okay, this is going to work or it's not, but still, give it a try. Number 3, how to ask for help. First thing, link to the tutorial. If you're posting on Facebook or Reddit or whatever kind of social media, say, hey, I'm trying to do this tutorial, here's the link, and I need help. Second thing here in 3B, I guess, show what you've already done. Say, this is what I've done, this is what it's doing, this is what it was supposed to be doing, I'm not sure where I went wrong. And the last piece of that is show your code, but not a screenshot, and Lord help us, not a comment. Don't paste your whole script as comment. Pastebin.com is a great resource to go and paste a bunch of code over there, and then you post your link and say, hey, I'm going through this tutorial, this is what I tried, this is what it's doing. You can do a screenshot of the error, that's fine, that's helpful. Here's a link to my Pastebin, to my source code, so you can see. You do all those things, you're going to get a much better chance of getting your question answered. Tip number 4, don't be afraid to color outside the lines. This goes with tip number 2, to press play before you're supposed to. If you find an interesting mechanic in the middle of that tutorial, run with it. Back up the code if you want, get back to the tutorial if you want, but I found fascinating things as I was working through a tutorial, hit play before I was supposed to, and thought, oh, I really like that. That's okay. I don't care about the tutorial anymore. Now I'm more interested in this mechanic that I just found, that I just kind of discovered. And that's a neat way to come up with ideas and mechanics that where you're not just making the next Flappy Bird. Like a path off a trail, it can lead to interesting places. Tip number 5, free tutorials and paid ones. Both are good. You don't always get what you pay for when it comes to this. More money does not necessarily equal a better tutorial. Look for the amount of experience that the teacher has, past things that they've done, projects they've done. Reviews can be good, but like a lot of Udemy teachers, put their course out for free, get 5-star ratings, and then make it paid, trading things for reviews and stuff like that. It's just, yeah, so be careful. Also make sure, again, like number one, that the tutorials for the same thing that you want to be working on. React Native, for example, changes very quickly. And when I was working with it, if you found code that was more than about 6 months old, it didn't work anymore because they were on version 18 of the API. So do free tutorials and paid tutorials. Both are good. Bonus tip. I know this is 5 tips to get more out of any tutorial. Here's a bonus one. Type in your code instead of just copying and pasting it. Does it take longer? Yes, it does. Is it better? Yes, it is. Why? Because as you're typing things in, you're going to learn things about the syntax of the language. You're going to learn that, oh, tabs don't work like that, or they do work like that, or this is what I need to do to connect the next line to the previous line, or features of the IDE that you're working with. You will find, you'll learn about case sensitivity. You'll learn about semicolons at the end of the line. And these are beginner kinds of things, but they're really important things to know. If you just paste the code in there, you're really probably not going to learn very much unless you get in and dig around and change things. And that's good too, but type in the code instead of pasting it. Even if you're looking at the code, they give you access to the code, still it's better to type it in because you're going to learn more about the development environment, the programming language, because you're taking the time to type out all the different things. You're going to learn more. So that's it for this segment. Stay tuned for What's Greg Working On and What's Greg Playing. This week in What's Greg Working On, it's lighting. You might notice this looks worse than the rest of the video because I have been working on better lighting. So let me turn the main light off. I've got my light over here, and I've got my light here, and my light back there to help draw attention to this and not all of that. As people have said, oh, the background's too distracting, which is valid. There's a lot of stuff back there, but, you know, it's all stuff I love. If people are interested, I'll do a tour or something. Some of those are interesting things that you can't really find a lot of places, but anyway, that's what I've been working on this week. Hopefully this video is a little more clear, a little more focused, helps you be more focused on what I'm saying. Thanks for watching this week's edition of What's Greg Working On. So what I'm playing today is called It Lurks Below. This is by Guy Graybeard Games is his alias, whose real name is David Brevik. He is the co-founder and president of Blizzard North, best known for the critically acclaimed Diablo franchise. So he has worked on Diablo. He was a key programmer and designer for Diablo, Diablo 2, also worked on Warcraft 3, different things. Also made a game that I was very fond of and missed dearly called Marvel Heroes, which is a really cool Marvel MMORPG. But today I'm playing his latest thing called It Lurks Below. So I've got a couple of different characters. I'm just going to pick one. Neardak. So it's very similar to, say, Starbound. Well, that's not fair. It's kind of like Starbound and Terraria, but there's a lot more to it. You've got different guns that do different things. I've already been down here and explored. You can go through, you can dig, you can find other things as you dig. There are, of course, creatures to fight. There are ores to mine. There are flaming unicorns to be had as pets, as you can see. Just go down over here. I've got a number of different guns that do different things. As I move over each one, this is an exceptional projectile wand. With Death Strike, every time you do damage, you have 5% chance to execute your target. Gun number 2, more of a spray and pray. Number 3, sets things on fire. And number 4 bounces around. So this is really handy when there's a bunch of baddies and you are trying to go through and clear out an area. You've also got different artifacts and things like that that can do other things. You can, if I hit for 8, 9, 0 equals, I'll bring up my skulls that I have active as a necromancer. I also have this thing which basically lets me fly around and kills everything around me every so often. So let's get a little bit of combat here. This is where bouncy gun comes in handy. Look at that. So it's a cool game. If you like the, so this is a shrine. You can get to the creature in there. If you like the games like Terraria and Starbound, let me turn off one. Yeah. So that's the one that gave me flight. Hey, how's it going? I'm probably about to die. Nope. Very effective. Anyway, there's things I'm picking up. Of course, you've got inventories, you've got crafting, you've got different things that will let you do different things. If you like the Starbound type games, Terraria type games, as far as pixel graphics, mining, exploring, this is a pretty cool one. I've played a fair bit of Terraria until they kind of gave the finger to PC players and not much since. I've played a lot of Starbound on my own and with my kids. Who enjoy it. Here's an area I've already been through. It's a neat game. If you like the exploring, digging, mining, with some combat, this is a cool game. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this and show you something else really cool about this game in David Brevik. So I'm going to save and quit. So he's also doing live streams on Twitch. So you can kind of see him working out different things as he's working on the game. He gets, it's built in Unity. Or something like that. He's going through and early summer or something. Working out different issues. He's got not a ton, but a handful of streams. But it's kind of cool. He will interact, and one time he was talking about something. He's like, I'm not sure about how to do this, and I was like, hey, what about this? And he came back and was like, oh yeah, that's actually what I did. So that's kind of cool. So anyway, It Lurks Below. It's $20 on Steam. Just type It Lurks Below into Google, of course, and you'll find it. But that's what I'm playing this week. Thanks for watching. As always, give us a like, subscribe. That helps me figure out that people are enjoying what I'm doing. Post in the comments what questions you have. If there are things you're stuck on in game development, I want to know about it. Put them in the comments. Send me an email, greg@howtobuildgames.com. Let me know, because I want these videos to help people get better at game development. And that's not just about the programming. It's about Unity in this case, but it applies to anything else. It's also about the programming language, the C#, but it's also about other things like learning how to learn, getting a tutorial on how to watch tutorials and get the most out of them. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you next time.